different pressures from our own families, from the associations that we belong to. We have to travel if we must. The plans are many and they all need financing. We want just then to spend a little time to talk about how we can go about managing these finances in some very practical tips on how we can do this so you can enjoy the holiday season without breaking the bank in a way. So let's get started. As Chole has introduced, my name is Dingase Makumba, and I'm Manager Market Development for the Securities and Exchange Commission. Cholo, can you confirm that you're seeing my presentation? Before
yes,
I go further?
able to see.
Yes, okay, all right, thank you. Yes, so the outline of the presentation for this afternoon, we shall talk about the Securities and Exchange Commission and put it in context, the role that we have in financial education. Then we shall look at an overview of the topic for this afternoon. And then we shall go into seeing how we can understand some financial challenges of the season. And then we shall go into what will be the climax of this town hall meeting. How can we plan and spend wisely by creating a plan, which essentially will be around budgeting. And then we shall look also at practicing responsible borrowing. As we shall see later, we essentially expect that some people will have to finance some of the obligations that come with the season by borrowing, but then how can this be done in a responsible manner? We shall then give a few cautionary or advice on fraud, which will be an alert as we may expect around this season. Scammers or fraudsters are also looking to make money and will take advantage of the frenzy that goes around the season. And then we shall conclude. So who is the stake? Once again, sometimes we don't want to take it for granted that everybody understands or knows who the stake is and just what is our, why do we speak about financial education? So what is our role in this financial education that we like talking about and we like bringing to the public in this engagement, the town hall? So the SEC, as most of you I expect by now know, is the regulator of the capital markets in Zambia, and it was established in 1993 under the Securities Act, TAP 354. It has been repealed and continued by the Securities Act number 41 of 2016, as amended by Act number 2022. So we do have amendments that came just recently in 2022, giving the SEC more powers to undertake its job essentially or I seem to have lost my network. Am I still in your view, Chore? Is the presentation showing?
Okay, you can just kindly reshare the presentation.
Oh, I thought so. Sorry about that. We're having quite some challenge today. Let me reshare. I hope it won't happen too often. Can you see it?
Yes, we can. You can just put it in presentation mode.
Okay. Okay. Yes, so I was talking about the function that mandates us to undertake financial education, and this is among many other functions. But today, I think what is of interest is the financial education mandate. So we are required to give promote financial education and also support financial education, especially bringing confidence with regards to the financial products that are in the capital markets, and also the use of the institutions that are there, and also the services. And as regulator of the capital markets, we are part of the wider financial sector, which involves the two other financial sector regulators, the Bank of Zambia and the Pensions and Insurance Authority. And together, we are implementing or co-implementing the National Strategy on Financial Education. The National Strategy on Financial Education, in brief, is set out to help Zambians become financially educated. As at 2020, we had some alarming statistics, though they were improving, but the statistics showed that only 23% of Zambian adults are financially literate. So you see us coming with such interventions, it's because we want to contribute to the improvement of financial literacy levels, because they're very key that to everyone's well-being in terms of how to manage themselves and to live a financially stress-free life. The overall objective of the NSFE, which is the National Strategy on Financial Education, as you can see, is that every Zambian should have an improved financial awareness, knowledge, skill, attitudes, and behaviors with which will lead them to make informed choices and to take other effective actions that will improve their financial well-being and that of their families. So what we are going to talk about really is something that is not strange. It is something that has been well planned for under the NSFP, and it is identified as a key skill to every person's financial well-being, to be able to make certain decisions, to be able to make plans, and to be deliberate and intentional about one's own financial life, which is put together, is called getting us to becoming financially healthy. So in terms of what is financial education, there is a definition, and it is, as I have been discussing, is providing people with the requisite knowledge and understanding, skills, and confidence so that they make financial decisions and take actions which are appropriate to their personal circumstances. And our circumstances, the circumstance that we have identified that is happening around this time is a demanding season that is coming, the festive season. We are already, if you're Catholic, you may know the word Advent season. It means it's the Christmas season and it has already been launched. So we need to prepare for it adequately. And the goal of the financial education really is to help all Zambians become financially included, which is very important, because without knowing or being aware, you are unlikely to have access or to make use of what is available to you to use in terms of becoming financially healthy or financially included. And these will be the basic services that are there in the country, even simple things like the banking services. We find that there are people who don't know how to use financial services for themselves. Things like borrowing, they will not know how to borrow responsibly, and they may not even know how to transact and so on. And that is quite concerning, and we hope that we can bring some awareness around that. So some of these thematic areas that are there are under the National Strategy on Financial Education, and I have put in red what will be some things discussed in this afternoon's discussion or town hall. And some of these things, as you can see, we are in the second phase of the National Strategy on Financial Education. In the first one, we had issues to do with financial planning around your key life events. And key life events can be anything from a birth, education, anything that is key happening in your life and needs funding is a key life event. So the birth of a child, your wedding, you're going to school, even death is a key life event because it needs money and it needs to be managed properly. We do have important topics identified, such as everybody should be able to save money, but they may not know how to go about it. So we do talk about how someone can identify money that they can save so that they are doing things purposefully. And we have a budget and spending wisely, and it's something that I'll talk about today. And there are issues of loans, there are insurance, investing, all those are around finances. But today we are concentrating on aspects of living within your means and budgeting and also borrowing wisely. We shall also go on and talk about identifying and avoiding financial fraud, because around this season, it is imminent that fraud shall actually increase. So the overview now of our topic goes on to talk about equipping people with financial knowledge and skills to help them make informed and sound decisions about their finances. So the festive season is a time for celebration, yes. We are all in the celebratory mode, but it can also lead to financial stresses if not managed properly. During the festive season, there's a hike, obviously, in consumer spending, and there's a lot of demands actually on our pockets. So we need to understand the trends and we need to prepare for these trends, whether it's a business, there's ways that we must behave around this season. And also if we're individuals, we need to adjust to certain financial demands that we're going to have. We don't like thinking that people are going to manage their money anyhow or impromptu. We want people who are deliberate, who have a plan so that they move in a manner that is very deliberate, and they are bound to prosper in that way. So we now start talking about our next topic, our next subtopic, which is plan and spend wisely. And in this section, we introduce the budget. In simple terms, a budget is a plan for how you want to use your money. It is a deliberate and detailed plan for your finances. Some of us are obviously maybe are coming from a background where we have done finance, and we can define a budget in other more complicated ways, especially to do with maybe institutions, but in a very simple way. This is how we would like people to think about it, about budgeting. It's just a plan of how you're going to manage your money. So key terms around budgeting is income. There is an income, and we define an income as the money you get, the money you earn maybe from your salary. And if you have investments or savings and investments, it's the money that is going to come through your earnings. It will be defined as an income, which will have to go into a category called income. It is money that is coming to you. And if you are in business, income can be out of your business sales. And then one other key term that you need to know is expenses. And now what are expenses? It's the money that you spend. This is the money you spend on your food, on your other bills, like electricity, for example. I have put a sample of your what your budget would look like in terms of your expenses, and you can see that we do have expenses like savings. Yes, savings is an expense. We have had a lot of discussion around it. A lot of people looked at savings in a different way, whereby you first spend and what is left over is what you consider as savings. But we are encouraging everyone to think of savings as an expense so that you can be able to budget for it. And why is it like this? Is because savings are very important and they start your journey to financial management. Everybody needs to be able to save and plan for savings. So you're going to put it as an expenditure. So what you see, and you will have access to this presentation, is just a sample of what you can call your monthly expenses. The line for income can obviously have as many as possible rows or items under it, depending on how much sources of income you have or how many sources of income that you have. So you need to line them up and put the specific amount of money that is going to come from those sources, your salary, your other income, and so on. And if you're not salaried, well and good, you still may have your business or doing other things that are bringing income to you. You need to state those and be very specific in terms of how much that income you're expecting is going to be. Similarly to your expenses, you need to be as accurate as possible. We continue and planning and spending wisely. So a budget is important because it helps you to track your income and expenses. Like I have said, you will need to be very deliberate, very specific as you itemize your sources of income and the amount that is coming to you. So it will help you to track your income. Also, the same way it will help you to track your expenses. It will also then help you to decide how to allocate your money, that income that you have, identifying the pot of income, how are you going to spend it to make sure that it meets your needs, and how are you going to prioritize your spending? Because at some point you may have to arrive at a point where you have to make priorities because income may not be enough to meet all the needs and wants, especially that you may have. So you need to make some priorities around your expenditure. You also are going to be able to benefit from the budgeting exercise as it will enable you to save for certain goals and emergencies. And today we are going to see how you can actually save for the festive season. The budget will also help you avoid overspending and incurring debt because you get to have this full view of what money you have under your disposal and also your limitations identified that way. And so it will help you not to be spontaneous in how you spend money because you know exactly what obligations are coming to you. So the wisdom in the budgeting process is what you've seen now, and we are continually saying plan and spend wisely. So how do we start with the budgeting? A few steps have been identified and we're going to discuss this. And we're saying it is simple. It's not a difficult thing. It's not anything that should make people anxious. Everybody can do it. Everyone can do it. And so let's see how we can dive into it. Step one, you need to understand the festive season has financial challenges. And what are these? So in this season, we obviously are going to face the challenge that will come with increased spending. We expect that there will be a lot of spending around gifts, travel expenses. A lot of people want to take holiday. There's a lot and loads of entertainment going on, and you'll be invited to a lot of parties, family gatherings, and so on, and you will be expected to contribute or spend some money there. And around, as you have your festive meals, you may also be hosting your own. You may also plan to host other people just as they will host you, and so there will be increased spending around your budget for food and so on. There can be also unplanned purchases coming through in this season, issues of impulse buying, and this can lead to overspending. Obviously, there'll be a lot of promotions going on, and this can lead to impulse buying. So we need to understand that this is coming our way. We already have a season or a day called Black Friday, and there's a lot that will come through looking our carrots that are going to be dangled in our faces as promotions, cut downs in prices, and we might want to just dive in and buy. But the issue is, did we plan to buy those things? We also have the pressure to meet social expectations. Like we mentioned earlier, there'll be gifts that will be expected by our loved ones. Sometimes even within the workplaces, if we are working, there's always this gifting around people that we are close with. And this will also put pressure on your finances. We talked about hosting events and obviously participating in other costly activities. Seasonal debt. Seasonal debt is bound to come, and we want to just caution that we should not over-rely on credit cards. We do have credit cards around, and this is something that increases our exposure to debt. And we want to see how we can actually borrow responsibly. Ordinarily, and I believe we have talked about this in earlier time meetings, if you've been following us, we've been talking about the importance of saving. So ordinarily, we want to believe that savings for such a season may have already been done, which is very good. And if not, it is an ongoing process. Saving does not stop. And in fact, we want to say, do not go into your emergency fund if you have saved one during this season. Try and avoid that, because an emergency fund is not meant for seasonal costs. It's really meant for your emergencies. And let us not get the temptation to deplete everything that we have during this season. So use the holiday promotions wisely. They are going to come and they're looking very attractive. But use them wisely. Take advantage of the sales, but only for items you need, you truly need. And as we talk about savings, we want to remind you that the capital markets has got financial instruments in which you can serve. And these are collectively or generally under these vanilla products are collective investment schemes, which are funds that you can invest in a fund which is managed by a fund manager. They are also called unit trusts, and they double as your savings and also your investment product, because you will have a long-term view, and also you have earnings and different risk levels around them. They are your investment products that are available in the capital markets, and we hope that you can take the opportunity to use them for your savings instead of saving. You can save in your piggy bank, but obviously as you grow in your financial journey, you have to really call upon formal financial services that are going to bring to you more earnings on your savings. You can also save in shares. When you buy shares, you can save. You think of them as your savings product, because you can always liquidate shares when you need the money, and you can always get dividends out of shares. So it is giving you back some money. It is money that is at your disposal, relatively liquid instruments. You can also invest in bonds. Yeah, think of it as a way of saving money. Step 3, after you've identified the challenges, you understand them, and you have done your savings, you have a pot of funds that you can now plan or budget. So as you now start your budgeting, you need to list all the anticipated expenses that you want to spend on this season. And we mentioned a few. You need to be very deliberate as you are undertaking your budgeting exercise. You do not gloss over certain items. You have to be very detailed. So if you've got 4 children and you want to give each one of them a gift, you don't just say gifts for my children. You will have to say gifts, this particular gift for this child, my friend, and in fact, how much it's going to cost. You have to identify already what kind of gift you want to give to who and how much it is going to cost you. And your meals, if you say, I shall spend 300 kwacha or 100 kwacha on meals per person for a meal outing of 6 people, you have to be very deliberate so that you can track your expenses properly. And you can be able to stick actually to your budget. And that is our step 4. Once you do that, you need to stick to your budget. Avoid exceeding your set amounts for any category under your budget. And prioritize spending on necessities and family. It is not everything that we can get ourselves involved in. That is being spontaneous and a little bit careless with our money, if I may say so. And step 5 and last involves tracking your expenses. You need to be going back to your budget from time to time and seeing how well you are doing against your budget. And if you are derailing, you need to see where else or what you can do to ensure that you are back online. Because money is actually something that is not limitless. It's not. It's something that will finish no matter what. Unless you are earning more money, your money will always finish at some point. So stick to your budget, track your expenses, and always get back into line. Done with budgeting and how you can go about it and tracking your expenses. We now talk about a key thematic area and the identified as key to financial education or key to making people financially literate. And this is the topic of practicing responsible borrowing. You may have to borrow. Not all borrowing is bad. Certain borrowing is necessary, and the borrowing that is responsible is that which is not used for consumables only. If you can borrow for investing in a business so that you make more money, that is encouraged as long as you ensure that your business is profitable and is going to be able to pay back. If you're borrowing for consumption purposes, you need to know that you are going to have earnings that will be able to help you pay back that debt. So to avoid excessive borrowing, we advise that, or we encourage you to pay with cash or your debit card, because it is going to be using the money that you have. That's money which you identified as your income. Avoid using credit cards necessarily, because it's money that you are borrowing without even seeing your credit card. It's just swiping away your money, and that money is being loaned to you, obviously at an interest. Be cautious when using your credit card spending, and only use them if you must. And then you are advised to pay off your debts as quickly as possible, because interest on debt will be, most of it is cumulative. If you delay paying in the time that you're supposed to pay, you get to incur more debt on the interest that you pay on debt. So it's sort of compounding, but it's downward. let's say, negative compounding on you. So aim to pay off holiday debts as soon as possible to avoid high interest charges. We now move on to another subtopic, which is talking about tips for managing post-holiday stress. And by the way, if there's anyone with questions, I really don't mind being interactive. If you want to make a contribution or questions this far, if Chole, you've seen any hand, please just let me know. This is really a chat. We can discuss and chat around this topic that affects our daily lives.
That's noted, Madam Binet.
All right, thank you. We look at tips for managing post-holiday stress. I'm very happy that we are talking about this now, and it's not just for these purposes of our holiday, which is just around the corner, or the season around the corner, but it is really behaviors and habits that we want to inculcate for the rest of our lives. We must be thinking futuristic around how we manage our personal finances. So we are encouraging that you set financial goals for the new year. The whole year, this is the time to start planning for it. Plan ahead for paying off any debts that you will have incurred or you may have incurred during the season, and then start planning ahead for your different expenses in the new year. One of the things that you might want to do for yourself, and it is a thematic area under the National Strategy for Financial Education, is that you must save and build an emergency fund. An emergency fund is really your income that can cover expenses, your critical expenses, for about 3 to 6 months. It is like a cover ratio for your expenses. In case anything happens to you, you will survive financially. You will manage your immediate expenses that are critical to you. It is also a fund that can help you manage certain stress, unexpected stress that can come to you, also known as wobblers. There are things that will happen without our expectation. For example, you can have a breakdown. Your car can break down, and you might find that you need a lot of money to fund that expense. There you can actually dig into your emergency fund. It is something that will help you to stay financially stress-free, or at least a cover of 3 to 6 months. You may lose your job and these things happen, but are you going to be able to survive? Are you going to pay your rentals? Are you going to pay your other important bills, your health bills, and any other such things? Food, for example, you still need to, until at a time when you have sorted yourself out in terms of getting back your earnings or your income. So you need to build that emergency fund, and you might want to speak to a financial advisor. We have financial advisors in our market. They can help you on that journey in terms of how you can plan your current to take care of issues such as emergency fund and planning for your savings and investments and so on. Or it is something that you can actually do for yourself. You can study up financially astute people are people who invest in knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge that you can look around for, and I'll be showing you some of the resources that we have, the Securities and Exchange Commission, that can help you to understand how you can go about actually building your savings and also investing. And last but not least, you need to monitor your expenses regularly. Check your expenses and report to stay on top of your financial health. A topic that we may not want to talk about, we may not want to think about, but everybody can be defrauded. Fraud sometimes happens, and sometimes we even keep quiet about it because we blame ourselves. But we need to know that fraudsters are very clever people. To them, it is also a profession, and they're also looking to make money, actually, and they continually stay on top of the game because they also know that New Year is coming, school fees are coming. For them, they must make the money, and they don't care who they approach to defraud. It can be anyone, it can be you and me. So we want just to give you some fraud alert. It's a very important topic because us as regulators, yes, we are there to protect you, protect your interest, and but we also know that you are the first line of protection. So you need to know about these things. You being knowledgeable is very important, and you are the first person that a defrauder will approach or a scammer will approach. And if you are not aware or able to even identify that this is a scam, you will have been defrauded, and the regulation or regulators may actually take long to help you or may not at all help you if it's something that is not within the ambit of that regulator. So what must you do? Yes, expect and be alert that the season might actually attract fraud. Fraudsters will fashion something around the season. There are potential scams that can come. We're not saying they are scams, but they are potential scams. And yes, in fact, they are in our lives. They are there around us. So, and fraudsters are counting on you to make your mistakes around your money. Just a few pointers to what kind of festive season scams that might mushroom around this time around. This could be phishing. Phishing comes through your emails, your texts. There's a lot. And fraudsters, like I said, they're on top of the game. They study the environment within which we are living. We have all seen the text that is talking to CD funds, and they're very quick. Your money, that CD funds have come out, send me your identity card and so on. And then this phishing is really meant about mining your things like your IDs that can be used with the legitimate institutions. So if you are careless, you provide your identification information, credit card details and so on, or debit card details and your passwords, then you render yourself to being defrauded. So you must be very careful. If you did not apply for any funds, for example, the funds that the defrauders would be talking about, or even enter into a competition, why should you be quick to provide those details that you're asking for? So be very quick. We might also see fraud around gifts and scams, gift card scam. They just say, oh, you have won something, or they mention a popular supermarket or institution that usually would be having promotions around the season. Like in our market, we do have ShopRite, we do have Pick and Pay, and they say you have won something. And we all go to these shops, and it would be nice if we won something, but did we enter a competition? Or how does it look real? Is it too good to be true? So we need to be very vigilant and careful about such gift card scams because they'll go on to ask for you to redeem those gifts. They'll go on to ask for your identification, and maybe they even ask for your account numbers and so on, because they'll tell you, they might just tell you, we need to deposit the money you have won into your account. Please be very careful around such scams. Other ways that you can be scammed during this season is online shopping scams, offering incredible deals. Maybe they tell you that they have 75% off of a certain items. And if something, our warning statement is, if something is too good to be true, it probably is. So be very careful, be smart about how you use your money. There may also be charity scams. You know, this is a season that calls for giving. So be very cautious of unsolicited charity requests. that may come to you. Some people may even register fake charities or not even register them in you. Maybe it's by way of using cybercrime. They can have this look very genuine and they ask you to donate monies to a certain cause. Put pictures that are sorrowful and they appeal to your emotion basically, and you start putting money into such items. So be very cautious, do your due diligence, find out who is behind such charity initiatives. And if they are not sure about it, do not put your money in there. Delivery scams also, this happens quite a lot, especially when you use courier services. You suddenly start receiving emails from similar email addresses. Maybe they would say DHL, but if you look carefully, you find that first of all, are you expecting any deliveries? You must ask that, and if not, look out, really interrogate how that email address is looking, and you might just find that yes, it's not genuine. So be very careful, verify the authenticity before providing any information. In short, be smart. We are regulators and we act on reports. We do our surveillance, we do our job, but sometimes it is very much helped by a very vigilant public. We ask you to help us by reporting suspicious activity. And in our market, who might you report to? You first of all, with any suspicious activity, I did mention sometimes it might actually be the mention of a certain institution that is providing or is purported to provide a service. So what you must do is report to that institution right away if you find that it is a suspicious activity. They might not know, it could be a celebrity actually, whose face is being used to perpetuate a scam. Try and find out if for real there's such an initiative going on. So you need to be a good citizen by reporting a suspicious activity, starting with that institution itself. Usually it is simple to find them. You just go on social media, maybe they have a Facebook page, or they do have a contact number that you can call and first of all find out, are they conducting such a promotion? And if they say no, at least you will have reported, you have done your part, you're a good Zambian citizen. Then if it's relating to investments, any investments that are brought to the public are of concern to the Securities and Exchange Commission, because we regulate the investments that are in the public. And this is our capital markets. You can report to the Securities and Exchange Commission. If it's something that is relating to the banks, under the money markets or any other, it could be a non-banking institution, mobile money, for example, they all fall under the Bank of Zambia as the regulator of non-banks and banks. And we also have insurance and pensions related products. You need, if you have suspicious information around that activity, for you to get quick redressal, you need to go to the Pensions and Insurance Authority. You can find their contacts. I think if you look carefully, there's websites that are easy to reach. You can also report to the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, who have quite a wide mandate over items that are consumed by the public or provided to consumers. You can also approach the Zambia police if those are the only if that's the only nearest help that you can get, and you can't quickly access specific regulators, go to the police. They'll receive the complaint, and if they need to pass it on to any of these regulators, we do work closely with them. They'll report to the specific regulator and be able to help. I think we have made quite some discussion. I have talked to a number of things, and in conclusion, I would like to just give a key takeaways that I hope that you will have appreciated in my presentation. Number one is you need to save for the future, be deliberate, be purposeful, do have a plan for your finances, and budget those finances all the time. This must be a habit that must be inculcated in you. And once you do it a few times, you'll find that it's so easy, and you always want to align yourself to your plan and your budgeting progress. I also discussed the staying disciplined and focused. That is very important. And that will really describe you as a financially literate person. And I hope you are going to be that person who can also speak to another person to improve their financial literacy levels. Remember, the country is trying to get developed, and unless we are financially literate, we won't be able to develop. Remember, New Year is coming, and you need to start saving for New Year and the different seasons that will come. So the holiday season doesn't have to be a financial burden. You have really planned for it. You set your budget, you set your goals, be alert, be smart, plan ahead, and you enjoy the festive season. Remember, the holiday is about spending time with loved ones and enjoying yourself. So we do hope that will happen for you. Enjoy the season, and may I be the first one to wish you happy holidays. Thank you. I end my presentation. Over to you, Cholo.
Well, thank you very much for that presentation, Madam Dingase. I actually feel the message is very timely, considering that there's actually Black Friday tomorrow. So we can actually start looking at our budgets tomorrow. And we have taken away quite a few things you've said in terms of managing stress, or tips for managing stress post the holiday, and also savings for the future. However, we do have a few questions in the chat. The first one coming from Kapondeni Piri, and he's asking to say, seeing that 2024 is ending, what were the successes and challenges of the NSFE, that is the National, that is the NFIS, National Financial Inclusion Strategy, from 2019 to 2024? I don't know if you can speak to that.
I think answering to this question, I'll speak to our role under the NSFE, the role that we have been given charge over. So the NSFE is being implemented by financial sector regulators, as well as the private sector and even the non-government organizations. But the spearheading institutions are the regulators, because obviously we are government, and we are very much vested in ensuring that we are looking out for the interests of the public. As the Securities and Exchange Commission, we have been spearheading initiatives under the for the sub-working group who's targeting the youth. So there's the target groups are identified and segmented as children. We have children who are in school and children who are out of school. We also have youth in school and youth out of school. We also have adults, and we have the adults are also those who are working and those who are out of school, those who are doing other activities, and we also identify SMEs and so on, small and medium enterprises, and that they are needing financial education, and they have given special recognition under the NSFE. Then we have an overriding target group, which is cutting across all target groups. It's called all ages. So we as the commission, we are doing programs that are speaking to all these target groups, but have special interests for the youth because we are spearheading the youth. So in terms of speaking to successes, we can proudly report that we've achieved quite a number of, we've scored quite a number of successes because we have undertaken and invested quite a lot in programs that are helping the youth with financial education. And just to mention a number of them, we have what is known as the essay writing competition. Remember, all we're trying to do is get youth to have interest, first of all, understand, and also be able to develop skills in taking up the products in the market, financial products in the market. And also with that knowledge, they should be able to make good financial decisions. And so we offer subjects or initiatives that are appropriate to such a category of ensuring that we go to the media with the programs so that they can also access. Some of them are nearer because they are the actual people participating, and some of them we just find them, we go to them through social media. We know that the youth are very much on social media, so we place our programs on social media. And we've even undertaken an assessment of how impactful these programs have been. Just talking to the national debate, we are sitting at 85% of having achieved what we intended to achieve in terms of knowledge and creating the interest in knowing about capital markets and the opportunities that are embedded within the market. So we are very much sure that once these youth come into a position where they can actually utilize the products in the market, it will be very much easy for them to do so. And we are able to have them create conversations with their families. So we know that they're passing on this information even to their parents, and hopefully they are taking up the opportunities that are there. So we've had quite a good score in terms of undertaking initiatives under the National Strategy on Financial Education. If we are to speak to other, like all age groups also, we participate under what is known as the Financial Literacy Week. We also have scored quite a number of points because the Financial Literacy Week is something that has been going on for over 10 years now, and it is actually gathering a lot of impact and interest and impact among the public across all ages. We have a lot of people that are coming on board and are taking even educational activities, and they've been identified and they're being awarded so that it is a concerted effort rather than singular efforts that are being made by those who are having charge over financial education strategy. I hope that helps.
All right, thank you for that. We also do have a question that is coming from Michael Wembia, and he's asking to say, how does one avoid feeling like they're punishing themselves when they stick to your budget? because sticking to your budget is very difficult at times and it feels like you're stinging yourself?
It's all about planning. Plan for yourself as well, you know. You don't need to look at, if you look at budgeting like punishment, then you probably abandon it. So there's always a way that you have to budget for yourself. Leave room for your entertainment if you want, or for your luxuries. Just allocate, understand yourself first of all. If you remember how we started, you need to understand, you need to be at a start from a position where you understand what you want, or what your needs are and what your wants are. So if you are a person who loves or who needs and wants to not punish yourself, I don't know what uh, he really means, but I'm sure you understand when I say you might probably want to entertain yourself, get some entertainment, get some. We're not saying those things should not be done, but what we're saying is plan for them and try to stick to it, because it's not money is not a bottomless pit. So try to stick to it and enjoy it along the way without feeling punished by it.
Okay, thank you very much for your response. So we do have a question from anonymous attendee, and he's asking, for building an emergency fund, would it be advisable to have a dollar account for this purpose?
Sorry, come again. Will it be advisable to have a dollar account?
Yeah, for building an emergency fund, would it be advisable to have a dollar account for this purpose?
Okay. It's the last part I didn't get, but I got the part where he's asking if it's advisable to have a dollar account. It's very much okay if you can afford to have a dollar account. And if obviously you see for various reasons, obviously you might want to use a dollar account. Maybe you're trying to protect yourself from what would be happening to the kwacha. The dollar might be getting stronger, or the kwacha, you think the kwacha is devaluing. It's up to you. And if you can have access, remember, if you're financially included in that way, that is very good. It's access to products and also understanding your situation. If you can afford a dollar account, it comes with its own well, maybe costs. Yeah, it can come with costs, and you think it is worth it. It answers to your needs. You are probably going to be spending money in dollars. Yes, why not? Why not have a dollar account? It's really up to you. You need to understand the situation. That's where you start.
Okay, so a follow-up question is coming from Chimwemwe Zimba, who's asking to say, is there a standard amount that is generally recommended for an emergency fund?
No, again, it speaks to emergency fund. Again, I'll just also be quite, let me say, we as regulators, we are not financial advisors, all right? But these are just basic things that you need to know about an emergency fund. It has to speak to your income and how much you earn. It's not one size fits all. And my emergency fund might look different from the next person's emergency fund, because in terms of what I save, what I can save depends on my income. So it starts also, it looks at your income. Like once you understand your expenditure and you are managing, it's actually it's the money you spend every month. You must aim to use that size of money, that amount, to to have a target for emergency fund, because it's that amount times, say, your 3 to 6 months. And then you start working towards having that amount of money in your emergency fund. So we would not give a certain amount. I don't think even a financial planner or advisor will say this is the amount that anybody should have. It depends on your unique circumstances.
All right, thank you for that, Madam Dingas. And still on the emergency funds, we do have a question from Mazesa Kayesa, who's asking to say, I want to have easy access to my emergency fund, but not in a unit trust where I have to write to it when I urgently need the money. So what can I do to not spend the money in my emergency fund should I feel like impulse buying? How do I not abuse an emergency fund?
Yeah,
If you got
an
that.
emergency fund is the fund you need to have easy access to, because emergencies happen without warning. So yes, you need that savings account where you have quick access to, but you need to be very disciplined. This is something that you can do for yourself. It may be hard to help you there. It's a discipline issue, self-discipline around the emergency fund. You would probably do things like have two different accounts, your current account and maybe your savings account. It can even be within the same bank, but have two different accounts. Where you're putting your emergency fund is not your daily or your operational account. Your operational account is what deals with your maybe your budget, and you have another account where you're sweeping your savings that are building your emergency fund. So just those are some of the things. And remember what I said earlier, good financial literate people are people who are doing the things that actually you guys out there who are attending this town who are doing, trying to build your knowledge. So it's many ways. It's listen to such webinars, read up, ask, approach those who are licensed to give advice and so on. Those are licensed, and you should need to be open with them. They'll look at your finances. They'll ask you questions and ask them questions as well, a lot. They'll look at your income and then probably make a plan for you on how you can go about building your funds, your investments, your savings, and even help you understand how you can stay financially disciplined. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Dingase. So we do have a lot of questions. Most of them are based on the emergency fund. And this one is coming from Luyando Mambo, who's asking, what is the best way of keeping an emergency fund? Is it advisable to invest the money in the emergency fund? And if so, what are some of the things one can invest in for the emergency fund?
I don't think you invest money that is in your emergency fund. Otherwise, it stops being an emergency fund. You need to access your emergency fund, and usually your investment products, you may need to, like the other caller said, I need to do a redemption, maybe I write or apply for it to access even in a unit trust account. And meanwhile, you are facing an emergency situation which needs money right up. Even those, I remember personally, yes, I did have insurance for, I think, around the funeral policy, but it was such that I could only claim it even after the burial had taken place. So that's not an emergency fund. Yes, it will push on me, but typically, while institutions will try as much as possible to have you access your funds, your money, some of them typically will not qualified to be called emergency funds, because in emergency, you need to be able to access it as quickly as the emergency came. So money for investing must be some other money that you target for investing. It's two different funds.
Okay.
If you do use that money, obviously, for your emergency, you're going to have to build another fund, start again to build the emergency fund, because it really has to be an emergency fund.
Okay. So Luyanda does have a follow-up question. They are asking to say, how then do you protect the emergency fund from inflation?
Very difficult question. Usually we protect our funds by investing, because when we invest is when we start looking for investments that are giving us earnings above the inflationary rates that are happening. So you probably are just going to need to keep putting in money to keep the value of your fund to be in line with your expenditure, with your ability to finance your expenditure. So if you were spending, for example, 1,000 on your budget to meet your needs, and the inflation moves against you, you need 1,200 to fund your bills. It means you have to make sure that you also align your emergency fund to the current levels of your expenditure, or the current amount you need to spend on your same bills. So you have to make sure that you also move accordingly on your fund. So the fund has to build in that value, that ability to finance your expenditure for that period.
Okay, thank you for that response, Madam Dingase. So
Yeah.
I do have a question from Gabriel Tekelo and Katumwa. They are asking on unit trust. So I'll just phrase the question as one. Gabriel is asking, what are some of the active unit trusts in the country? And Katumwa is asking how he can get information on savings through unit trusts.
You have to approach a fund manager. On our website, we do have the funds that are listed in the market. So you need to just really look out for that. Maybe we can share something in our chat, a link, but you can go to our website and you'll find the list of authorized funds in the market. Please do your shopping. Do ask as many questions because not all fund managers will be giving the exact same services and the exact same, and the products might be a little bit different from one another. So you need to really find that fund manager who speaks or who you are comfortable with and who is going to save your needs. You have to ask around the fees that they're going to be charging you for managing your funds and how much you're going to be getting on your funds. Smart investor will always ask questions and will only invest when they are happy with their findings. They only put money into something which you really understand how it works and how it's going to be giving back money on your fund, on your growing your money, because when you're investing, you're looking to grow your money. So understand the potential it has to do that and also the risks that it has. And then you can be invested in it.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Dingase, for that. We do have one last question, but this one is a little off topic because they are inquiring on black tax. So the question is on the budgeting section, what is the normal rate for black tax? How does one really go about this? As there is little information on the topic. This question is from Mr. Sage Nalifio.
I wish, you said Sage?
Sage
I wish,
Nalifio.
yes, I wish he defined what he meant by black tax. I have heard that term by many people. Many times, I know I attended the STEM conference for financial literacy for young people, and they were complaining about what they called black tax. If it means the same, it's about what you give. Is it what you give to your relatives, for example, your parents, and so on? I don't know. I don't know how much. Again, these are unique and personal circumstances that we find ourselves with. We always want to understand our personal situation, even as we manage our finances. I might be dealing with parents who are wealthy. All they need is that Christmas gift, that phone call, the visit, and they're very happy. And I might also have parents who are entirely dependent on me. Obviously, the approach will be different. I personally don't like the term black tax. It is so anti. If this is a person, it's not a safe position, but it is, for me, I find it quite anti, well, against our culture. And we cannot prescribe. And no one can, I don't think there's anyone who can prescribe how much, but it is also advisable that you cannot go all out and give away your money. You have to, yes, very true that you need to plan for it. You need to be within certain bounds. Otherwise, if you're just going to open up to giving without a plan, you will find yourself without even being able to build an emergency fund, for example, or do take care of your key life event, your financial needs, because you are just giving. So it's responsible. Responsible. It's all about managing your finances. How much can you afford to give? And you need to be within what you can afford. You need to be honest with yourself and true to yourself. You need to be able to plan for your future finance. Don't go all out and give it all away. I don't think that would be wise. So be wise and be smart about it. And still be responsible, yes, to those who really need you.
All right.
Was that okay?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much for today's presentation, Madam Dingase. Like I earlier mentioned, today's presentation is very timely as we are diving into the festive season. And for our viewers, participants, thank you very much for the questions that have been posed. We have received questions on whether the presentation will be shared. Yes, indeed, the presentation will be shared. And also remember, this was being live on our Facebook page. So whenever you need to revisit or you need clarity on the presentation, you can feel free to watch it on our Facebook page as well. And for any queries that you may have, please feel free to write to us at info@sexzambia.com or info@sexzambia.org.zm. We'll be able to respond to you within the shortest possible time. Thank you once more, and we'll look forward to seeing you in our December town hall.
Thank you, Chorwe. And thank you, everyone.
Hello? John, I think we have talked about this. Tell those people to get that $4 million, put it in the $30 million account. That's where I want that money to be. But where is the problem? We will deliver the goods as agreed.
They say a man is supposed to protect his family, provide, secure their future.
We're doing this in 3 weeks. 3 weeks? From 2 to 4?
I was supposed to buy my family a house, a place we could finally call home.
Of course, if you go beyond 200, we're talking 1 week.
Oh, don't tell me. You'll make me
my business.
you'll make me run around, and find that money and make sure that these things. Money is money.
I served every kwacha for years and sacrificing, but now it's all gone. I should have known better. I trusted someone I didn't fully understand. Went for the quick fix, and now I'm paying the price.
Chanda, you know what your dad was saying this morning before he left? He was saying, oh, I'm very excited. I'm going to run that 100 meters. You know the one for the parents at your school? He was like, I'm going to win.
You should just sit down. He's too old for that.
Oh. You want me to tell him? Okay. People are not loyal. Dad is here.
Oh yeah, and Dad, I can't wait to move into the new house because I already started making plans and I told all my friends about it.
I can't tell her. How do I explain that I lost everything? The house, our future. I felt them all. I have to fix this. I can't give up. There has to be a way. Next time, I will check the facts and trust the right people. I thought my story ended when I lost everything. But maybe this is just the beginning.
A good investor understands that the social media influencers cannot understand the personal circumstances of their followers. So, their recommendation could not be suitable.
Watch out for the next episode. This movie is sponsored by the Securities and Exchange Commission, the regulators of capital markets in Zambia.